What is going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Hook It podcast. Today, I'm going to be joined by Veronique Sandler. But before we get into this episode, I want to give a quick thank you to some of our show sponsors and fill you guys in on some podcast news. First up, the legendary Sax underwear. Sax have been supporting the podcast for a couple of years now, and they make the best underwear on planet Earth. They just dropped a brand new collection for fall 2019, and within that collection is a brand new model too. If you are one of those people who's been a little bit unsure about spending £25 on a pair of boxer shorts, you've seen the reviews, you've heard all the amazing things, but you're still a little bit unsure, then you are in luck. Sax just dropped a new model called the Day Tripper. Now, the Day Tripper is made of natural touch synthetic. It features the ballpark pouch. They are 3D fit, they are flat out seams, and they are part of the everyday collection. They also are moisture wicking. They are made of 97% polyester with a little bit of elastane to keep them in check. And they have a fly. So if you're one of those guys who likes to sort of come out through the gate rather than sling that ding-a-ling over the wall, what better than the Day Tripper? And they retail at just £20 on the nose. So if you're one of those people, you weren't too sure before, what's better than a pair of 20 quid duds to get you introduced to the ballpark pouch and to the Sax brand? They are, of course, available through saxunderwear.com from your local stockist or hookitproducts.co.uk. We are also brought to you by Hook It Products. And again, over the years, one thing I've heard loads of is what actually is Hook It. So I thought today I'd give you a really quick synopsis of what we actually do at Hook It. We are a distribution company. We service a network of bike shops around the UK and also parts of Europe. And we distribute some of the best bike components and accessories and clothing brands on the planet. We distribute Unite components, 35 bikes for all your brake pads, brake rotors and mudguards. Of course, Sax underwear. We recently added Red Bull Spect eyewear to the catalogue as well. And shortly, we are about to drop a brand new brand, so keep an eye on the website. The website is hookitproducts.co.uk. If you don't see what you want in your local bike shop, head to hookitproducts.co.uk. If you enter the promo code podcast, it will always knock 10% off anything and everything that you buy. So if you want to support the podcast, it's hookitproducts.co.uk. Enter the promo code podcast, and there you go, 10% in your back pocket, so you can spend it on a turmeric latte or an iced coffee, whatever you fancy. All right, guys. Before we get into this episode, I just want to quickly update you guys with the whole marathon thing. If you listened to the episode a little while ago called Always Prepare for the Worst, you will know that my friends and I ran into some trouble on Loch Ness. In fact, I almost died. My two friends were in a bad way as well. And one thing that we took away from that is that we were going to try and raise some money for the Royal National Lifeboat Institute, the RNLI. So on the 6th of October, my friends and I are going to run a marathon, and all the money that we raise is going straight to the RNLI. So if you do enjoy this podcast and you just want to give a little bit back, I don't want your money. I want you to give it to the RNLI. There's a link in the show description. Just click that and donate whatever you can afford. It'd be much appreciated. It's fueling us to keep training for this marathon. None of us do any running before we started training for this marathon a little over a couple of months ago. Things are starting to fall into place now, and it looks like the 6th of October we are going to head all the way back up to Loch Ness, where we nearly lost our lives, and complete this marathon and donate some much needed money to the RNLI, which, as you might know, is all run on charity donations. So it's about doing something, guys, to give back to these people who helped save our lives and help continue to let this podcast be a thing, because if I was dead, no podcast. As you also know, on every episode of the podcast, we give away a pair of Sax underwear. If you want to win a pair of Sax underwear, all you have to do is go to iTunes and leave a review. Again, a few people have been confused. They think you just have to click the stars. No, you have to write something, make it as funny, as critical as you know. Even if it's a bad review, you might win some underwear as well. Make it not bad if you can, though. But yeah, just write a review and then you will automatically be entered to win a pair of Sax underwear. Now, this episode is our 80th birthday episode, and I just looked before, and incidentally, it also is our 100th ever episode, which is crazy. So yeah, it's 100 episodes officially. So that's including Shop Talk, Secret Sessions, and also the Behind the Bike episodes and EWS or Bust. But this is the 80th episode of the actual main Hook It podcast. So why not give away some extra pair of underwear? So I'm going to give 3 pairs away. I'm going to have a quick scroll through iTunes right now. If your name is p.norm on iTunes, then hit us up. Slide into the DMs. You have won yourself a pair of Sax underwear. If your name is Rowan_DB, hit us up. You have won yourself a pair of Sax underwear. And last but not least, if your name is, let's go quite far back actually. Why not? Let's see if you guys are still listening. If your name is Wide Boy Dave, if that's you as well, slide into the DMs. You have won yourself some Sax underwear. Also, keep an eye on the social media because over the next couple of days, we're going to do some more giveaways. And there's another episode of Secret Sessions dropping just before this weekend as well. But that's enough from me. I've done enough talking. I've got a sore throat after all these podcasts recently. And it's about time to hand over to Ollie Wilkins for a brief introduction, a little bit of Zeb, and then we're going to welcome Veronique Sandler to the podcast for episode 80. Enjoy, and don't forget, if you do enjoy this episode, to share it with your friends because they will maybe like it too.
Welcome to the Hook It podcast, endorsed by @OW_23. Add me, tag me, follow me, please follow me.
Keep very calm. Give me all your money. Try to count to 10. Little doesn't know it's about to begin. Push it too far, you're a killing machine.
Yeah, she's like, she gets like fucking shivers and like headaches and stuff, but she doesn't have it right like as soon as she wakes up.
Oh, it's real.
Stuff like that. It's like proper drug.
No, it's real for sure. That's exactly what I'm like. And because so my day job obviously is I like go around bike shops and, you know, visit them and sell stuff, I guess. That's like the actual business of Hook It.
Cool.
And every bike shop, you know, they offer you a coffee. So if you visit 4 bike shops a day, plus you leave in the morning with a coffee, I just ended up, I'm drinking way too much of this stuff. Like I need to tone it down a little bit. So
yeah, it is gnarly.
Having a detox. See how this thing goes.
Nice. Well, so, good luck.
Yeah,
Hope
thank
it gets
you.
better.
I think I need it. So probably best just hit and record. We'll just carry on as we are and just rip it. But just so you know, no, I don't really plan these things too much anymore. We'll just sit and chat some shit for a little while.
Sounds good.
I found out a long time ago that if you plan too heavy, it's just really uncomfortable and
nice.
You know what I mean? Like you're too like structured, I guess. So there's a few things obviously I want to.
And it's way more enjoyable just listening to like a conversation, isn't it? Like
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
I agree.
Sick.
Totally. So I'd rather just do that than, like I say, just have a load of stuff and try and interview you like some sort of cheap Parkinson. I'm
down with that.
All right. Let's just drop in from here then, eh? Appreciate it. Thank you for for coming on here. It's rad. And
thanks for having me.
It's all good. Sorry we missed each other in Sheffield. It'd been cool if you'd have stopped by the little studio that I got going on now, but next time.
For sure. No, that would have been sick. I was gonna come up last week actually, but I didn't because I've just moved out of my house and it's been a lot more hectic than I thought it would be. So
okay. All right.
I thought I'd get the chance to come up, but
the hardest thing about this whole podcast thing, and I've been saying it for ages, it's not getting guests because people the podcast pretty good these days, I guess.
Yeah.
And people want to actually come on it, but the hardest thing is just lining schedules up and getting to sit down and just have an hour or two. It's a fucking nightmare.
It's crazy how hectic everyone's schedules are in different ways, isn't it? Like, I have the same. Even just trying to go for a ride, it's like it's a puzzle like every time.
It is. I agree. But we got there. We're here. You know, it's a big day for you as well. I guess you got the film dropped this morning.
Yeah.
So big day for you. Big day for me as well. 80th episode. So
nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Shit. That's a lot. Congrats.
Thank you. So yeah, thanks for doing it again. Like 80th
There you
episode.
go.
It's crazy to think it's 80 episodes, but
That is sick.
that's a lot of talking.
I bet you've got some mad wisdom in there in like 80 episodes.
Yeah, none of it from me, but yeah, there is some mad wisdom. There's definitely some mad wisdom in there for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. I had this conversation yesterday actually with another person. They were like, "Oh, what's been, the best guest so far? Like, which one has like had the biggest impact on you?" And I was saying it's probably Matt McDuff was insane. He was like so interesting, like such a rad guy, and like his his sort of thoughts about like cold water therapy and all that sort of stuff was like super interesting, and meditation. And then there's been some hectic good people on here. So
he's been through some gnarly times, hasn't he? Like I met him just briefly when I was in Spain last time, and I didn't know he was like that at all. Like
really,
yeah. Like you said, he just like got mad, like really, I don't know, different views about stuff.
He's a really, really deep guy, and I think it's one of those. He's probably that, the perfect person where you look from the outside looking in, you think, oh, like free ride mountain biker, probably just like switches his brain off and sends it, but he's like so thoughtful about everything.
Yeah.
He's a really.
That's what I thought. I thought he was one of those gnarly, just like just go for anything and like, But yeah, it's mad. It's pretty cool. It just shows you like you can never judge a book by its cover.
Exactly. There's been a lot of people like that so far on this thing.
Nice.
Where and these people become good friends too. Like me and Matt talk quite a bit these days, and that's kind of nice as well.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for doing this again. I know I've already said that a million times, but fuck it, I'll say it again.
Stoked.
Yeah, movie drop today. I want to talk to you about the film. Obviously, I actually only watched it this morning for the first time, and
nice.
I want to talk to you about that in a little bit. But first, always good. Every good story starts at the start. So we're going to wind everything right back, if that's cool, and talk about how you first got into mountain biking.
For sure.
I know you've probably told this story a few times, but it's super interesting to find out where people come from.
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up in New Zealand, obviously. I lived there like permanently till I was about sort of 18, 19. Mm-hmm. And I used to live up in Auckland with my family, and we had like a little sort of, not a farm, but like a little lifestyle block sort of thing. Okay. And I was really into horses when I was like younger and when I was a teenager. I think it's like quite common for most teenage girls to be like obsessed with horses for some reason.
Pony club's
so
real.
I was like, I was super into horses. I'd wanted one for so long, like every couple of days I'd nag my parents. And finally, when I was, I think 13, I got a pony, which was like crazy, so sick. I think like it's a bit more chill over there. Like it's not such a like posh person's thing as it is over here.
Oh really? Okay.
You can like get away with owning a horse and then just like riding it around in a chill way, and like not being all that. Yeah, but
I know you mean. It's definitely got that perception over here that you have. You do have to have quite a bit of money to have a horse. To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't really. I just rode around, like the land that I had, and I just hung out with it, and I loved riding my horse. And then my little brother Leo started riding bikes, probably like half a year or so into me having a horse. And he used to go out with a couple of his friends. He's like just over a year younger than me, so pretty similar in age, and it looked like a lot of fun. So I went out for a few rides with him, and I was like, oh, this is sick. I got like more and more into it, and I started sort of like neglecting my horse more and more, and sort of like just not riding it. And my parents were like, probably about time we get rid of that because the horse isn't having a good time. So,
it's getting fat.
or not getting thin because I wasn't feeding it. No, I was looking after it, but I didn't like.
It's a lot of work though,
man.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's got a horse too, and it's like
nice.
It's flat out all the time. Like you cannot. Obviously, that thing relies on you going up there every day and feeding it. It's like if you just take your foot off the gas, it's probably gonna.
It's like
die,
a proper. So. You have to be like fully into it.
Yeah.
If you want to own a horse and like look after it properly, full commitment.
For sure.
But yeah. So yeah, I just got more and more into bikes and like started sort of like drifting away from horses. But we just rode at a local bike park, just like cruising around and like hucking off jumps and stuff. Not big ones, but just like what kids do. Yeah. And so when I was about 14, I started like properly getting into mountain biking, and we went to watch a national race national downhill race up north in Auckland, a little bit called Dome Valley.
Okay.
But we didn't really have a clue about like, you know, downhill racing or anything. So after we watched that, we were all so hyped.
You just headed up there. Like, where do you find out about it? Just like
just because of the bike park we went to regularly, like on the weekends, they must have had like, you know, someone there or a poster up or something. Yeah. And our parents took us up there to watch, and we were like, wow, like mind blown. This is the sickest thing of all time. So from then on, we're just super into it. Just mainly downhill racing, because I guess like racing was all there was basically. Yeah. Like, there was no social media or anything. So me, my brother, and our little crew, like our other our family friends, there was 3 of them. A girl, my best friend actually, who's my age, and then 2 younger brothers. We all had a little crew, and we'd all go ride together, and then we started doing a couple downhill races and stuff. And it all went from there. Like, we did a couple of sort of local ones, then the next year or the year after that, we went on to nationals and did a few rounds, and then before I knew it, I was racing worlds in Chompery when I was a junior.
Jeez.
So that's where it all kind of like started off.
There must have been a point though where you realised like you're pretty damn good at this, so you can go ride worlds. Or like, do you remember like how did that all come together? Was there any sponsors involved or anything like that? No,
there were never any sponsors involved. But to be honest, I wasn't really that good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty average. Like, I can't remember how many girls there were. I think there was probably about 10 girls racing junior worlds, and I think I came like 6th. And obviously you probably remember it was like a horrendous race. Like, I think I crashed like 3 times and probably walked down some sections, but yeah, I was never like really the person that was like the best or anything like that. And
all right,
but I just really enjoyed it. I wasn't bad, but I wasn't like amazing. But yeah, after coming over and racing worlds, I was going to go to uni the year after that, but I decided I'd come back over and sort of like do the Kiwi thing where you travel around in a van and like do the World Cups. So I did that. In 2012, I think. Yeah. Okay. And then I was like, I'm not going to uni. I'm doing this every year. So
forever.
I kept doing it over and over. It was like really hard to afford, but I'd work over the New Zealand summer, which is our winter here. Yeah. Just work really hard, just earn enough money to come back over here and race, then be like literally broke by the time I need to fly home, and do the same thing over and over and over, which was like, it was really fun. I absolutely loved it, but it was like, I never had any money. And when I was in New Zealand, I moved to Queenstown with a couple of friends, and most of them were like professional riders, so they'd ride all day long and have the sickest time, and I'd be like working really long hours so I could afford to come to Europe. So it was like, you know, like, it's a sick place to live, but when you're not riding, it's like just kind of frustrating. So I decided I can't remember, I think it was end of 2015, I decided to stay over here for a year. Okay. Just because I thought it would be like more affordable. And that's it. Ever since then I've lived in the UK. I've only been back to New Zealand once.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a bit right. Okay. It's like a similar story to Win as well. Like, Win did the whole get to Europe and then figure it out when you get here sort of thing. You just that's get there. Yeah. That is very much kind of like how I've lived my whole life, I guess. Just sort of wing it and see what happens. It's like pretty stressful at times, but at other times it pays off and you don't have any like commitments or anything, so it's like even better than it would be. Yeah. So how hard was it to like race the World Cups and stuff then, and do it pretty much on your own budget? Were you and Leo traveling together as well? Leo only what year was it? Leo came over I think in 2013 because he was a junior. Right. And he raced Leo gang. He just came over for like a month or so, but he actually after that he fully fell out with riding, and he was just like over it, and he didn't ride until he moved over to the UK in 2016. Okay. So he had like quite a few 3 or 4 years off the bike. Mm-hmm. So it was just me and like a bunch of Kiwis every year would just like get grouped together and see who was up for it and who wanted to do this and that. So that's cool. And it was so much fun, but like I don't know, racing got to a stage for me where it wasn't really that enjoyable anymore. And then I like sort of stopped doing it. Okay, right. I want to talk to you about that as well, because that's a huge decision. But as far as looking, if you were to look back now, then at sort of your racing career? Is there any highlights that really stand out? And do you think if you'd have stuck with it, where do you think like you'd be at right now?
It's hard to say because I really enjoy training and stuff. Was never a problem for me because I really enjoy that side of it. Like I really enjoy going to the gym. I still go to the gym all the time now just because I just enjoy like pushing myself in the gym. So I don't think it was ever a matter of, like I'm burnt out and I can't be bothered training and stuff. But it was just like frustrating because my result, I can't remember which year, but I had like a couple good, like my Fort William in 2014, I think actually was my best result to date, even as just 11th.
Right. Wow.
And,
that's good though, dude. That's crazy good.
Yeah, like pretty good, but like it's not amazing. And that was my best result. And then after that, it just never got like I felt like I was going fast and doing exactly the same stuff, but I just never got any better. So yeah, I don't really.
I feel like downhill just requires this crazy mindset and crazy personality, definitely. Because there's so much that goes into that one run. And I spoke about this on the podcast before because it's something that I've done a few downhill races too, and it just isn't for me. I can't get my head around that whole definitely. Like all that training and traveling and practice and money and everything comes down to that maximum of a 5-minute run. It's it's a special sort of person that can, especially when you start getting like good and recognized, it's a special sort of person that can deal with that pressure of being on the start line and being able to put it all on the line for one run. Like it just boggles my mind, dude, like for sure.
It's insane. It's insane. I have like the utmost respect for people who do it because I know how hard it is, and like literally it was like impossible for me, so I have like so much respect. But I think like when you're in it, you don't look at it from an outside perspective like that, and you don't think like, it's like if you're in a team it's cool, but if you're like doing it off your own back, it's a massive commitment to like basically commit your whole life to like every couple of weekends riding your bike down a hill 10 times, maybe like maximum all weekend, and spending so much money and then always walking away like a bit disappointed in your performance.
Well, it's not like you're walking away with like a huge check either. Even if you win, it's still I don't know. Maybe I know obviously the top guys are
like, and you just come away with like some minor injuries or something. You're like, why have I done this for like 5 years? But it's so cool. Like I absolutely love watching it. Yeah. Like I watch every World Cup and I love going to watch the races and stuff as well. But it's just I don't know. It's just something that like I never quite like grasped properly. I never really got that thing that you need to like really do well at it.
Yeah. Do you remember like it giving you crazy sort of anxiety and stress about being up on that start line and?
Yeah. Not like like I did get really really nervous, but the main thing that really like frustrated me was like I'd feel mint in practice and I'd ride with people who were pretty good and I'd like feel comfortable riding with them and stuff, but just as soon as I got on the start, I guess it's nerves, but as soon as I got on the start, my mind would just go all over the show. Like I'd forget where I was supposed to be going. I'd brake everywhere, or I'd like blow everything out. I know it happens all the time to people, but like it would never not happen. So I was like, what is happening? Like, what is this? And I think I was just putting so much, like, I didn't have any pressure from sponsors because I didn't really have any.
Right.
So I think I just put a lot of pressure on myself and it just didn't really work.
Okay, that's fair. No, it's like I say, it takes a very, very special person to deal with all that pressure, to put everything on the line, financially, physically, like everything. Yeah. It's a wild sport when you look at it. Like you say, when you step back and you look at it like that, it's a wild, wild sport.
Yeah, it's really mad.
Is.
It's mad. It is. Yeah.
So, your parents and stuff then, have they always like been super supportive of everything you guys have been doing? Because, it's a big thing for, anybody as well as... Yeah. Don't like I know you have to tread lightly sometimes around this, but like a girl to just head off traveling and race mountain bikes, it's a big thing.
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that.
Really,
my parents have always been like really really supportive of me, but they've never really like when I was super young it was really good, but sort of when I got to the stage when I was actually racing properly, like around 15 16 and from then on they're never really in a position to like support me financially that much. Yeah. So but they did everything they could to help me out like in whatever ways they could, which was awesome. Especially my mum, you know, like she was always like, do sport and like do whatever you want and like you know, follow your dreams sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they were. My mum, she's from Europe anyway, and she knows what it's like and stuff. So I don't think she was too bothered about coming over here and stuff.
Right.
She's got like family friends over there, so she'd probably hit them up if I was in trouble.
Okay.
And my dad he's already got like before me, he's already got 6 other children, so he's probably like, oh, you know, just another one, like, you know, go and send it sort of thing. So like, they never like showed any sort of like issues or like anxiety with me going overseas on my own or anything like that.
Really? That's interesting. I remember like, because I moved away and did some travelling and stuff, and it's a big thing for parents, you know, it's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I had a kid, I'd definitely be like, "What? Where are you? What are you doing?" Especially, like you said before, you know, mobile phones were really that good. It was you know, you had to go get calling cards and all that sort of stuff when I was doing it. It was wild. So,
yeah. No, I never looked. Well, I should ask them actually, but they never like sort of expressed any worries, so I never thought about that.
Oh, I'm sure deep down they were troubled about the whole thing for sure. So okay. You made the decision then to stop racing. What was the final like nail in the coffin which made you think, right, I want to go down a different path?
I didn't actually think that, to be honest. Like I never thought, all right, I'm going to change my path or change my goals or anything. I just thought, like my train of thought was like, this just isn't really that fun for me anymore, so I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
And I was off like for all those years I was racing, I was always working full time as well. So I just kept working full time and just riding my bike for fun. Like I literally just stopped racing. I didn't try to start doing anything else. I just literally like stopped one thing.
Right.
And then it just sort of came naturally. Like I think it was the end of 2016. I just I was living in Bristol. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you know, I'll just work over the winter and just have fun. Maybe I actually applied to go to what's that uni called? Not Bristol Uni, but the other one. I don't know. It's in Bristol, but yeah.
Okay. Right.
So I applied for that, and I just thought I was going to sort of like, you know, put riding as my hobby.
Got you. What would you have done at uni?
And, physio.
Oh right. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I actually like I got I didn't like read through the thing properly, so I applied for it, and then they came back to me like, yeah, sweet, you're in. And then I looked at a campus, and it was like an hour away, and I was like, maybe not. Maybe I just
don't want to do it that bad.
yeah. I didn't really want to anyway, but I was like, probably a good career move and stuff. But I just kind of like, I had a bit of change. Like, obviously I stopped racing, so I was hanging out with like sort of different people and people who just like ride for fun and stuff like that, which really I think like helped change my perception of it, and I just started doing it like in a different sort of way and with a different mindset.
Yeah,
that's where like everything came from. Yeah,
that's interesting, because if you at that time were hanging around with people who just wanted to race and were just chasing the clock all the time, you know, things could have probably gone a totally different direction. Maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, because it is so easy when you're in that like race sort of scene. It's so easy to just like, you get so caught up in it, you think it's like the only way, and the whole like industry. But yeah, there's definitely more out there.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. I mean, so wait, how did you end up moving to Bristol? Like, all this stuff's really confusing. So you're living in New Zealand, traveling around in Europe, and then you weren't really going back. You were just sort of staying around Europe in the UK, or? Yeah,
literally in the UK, because I have a German passport, so it's pretty chill for me to, you know, like cruise around Europe or around the UK.
Yeah.
At the minute. See what happens with that.
Yeah,
but,
oh man, let's not go down that that rabbit hole.
I don't even know about that. I don't even look into it.
Jeez.
But yeah, so I moved. I actually, I was talking to Manon, and she was like, "Oh, by the way, like," I was like, "I want to stay in the UK, but I don't know where, and I don't have a clue and stuff." And she was like, "Well, if you want," her dad, Jace, who owns a skate park in Cardiff, like an indoor skate park called Ramp World, he's got a job going there if you want. So I was like, "All right, I'll move to that area then." So I just literally moved there because of the job. Yeah, because I was like, can I start really soon? Because I'm really skinned. And she was like, yeah, for sure. And then my other friend, actually, her mum lived sort of like half an hour from there, and she had a spare room in her house, so I moved in there.
Right.
So then I lived in Cardiff for over the winter. And then during that time, my mum and my dad separated. And because my mum's from Germany, she came back over here, and she brought my brother with her.
Right.
And she moved to Germany because she got a job there, but she didn't really like her job. And she was like, I was on the phone to her one day, and I was like, well, why don't you just come to the UK? Like, it's pretty cool. And she was like, oh, could do. Like, if you find me a job, I'll come. So I found her a job in Bristol.
Right.
She teaches at like an alternative kind of school called Steiner Education.
What's that?
It's sort of like, I don't know, it's more of like a less academic and more sort of like creative kind of education.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, me and my brother both went to the Steiner school when we were growing up.
So that's where all
Laurie
this sort of
Laurie
like...
Greenland actually went to one as well.
Right. See, that definitely
Yeah.
makes sense now, because you can see how, she's happy for you to go traveling and do like alternative stuff with your life. It's
Yeah.
not as sort of regimented and as...
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely not.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting.
It's sort of like, some people call it like sort of a hippie education, but I think that's like quite harsh. Like, it's just more of a creative sort of... They sort of focus on academic stuff later on, rather than, testing you when you're like 5 years old and stuff like
100%.
that.
Dude, it is utter bullshit that
Yeah.
kids go through all these tests and
Yeah,
you're
it's
only
gnarly.
as smart as what they say you are on paper, and it's a crazy thing. I mean, my girlfriend's my girlfriend's actually she works in a school, and some of the stuff she says about it and the things that they get these kids to do. I mean, she works with infant school, and they have tests at like 4 and 5
That's
years old.
horrible.
Like, what
Yeah.
the hell?
That's-
And it's what's really interesting actually is in Sweden, for example, kids don't go to school until they're 7, so that gives them
Exactly,
loads of
yeah.
time to hang out with the family, hang out with
Yeah.
parents, actually develop some sort of social skills,
Yeah.
figure out what they actually might like and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Whereas this, you drop them off at 9 in the morning, pick them up at
Yeah.
3:30, and they are...
That's horrible.
It's bullshit. It doesn't
Poor
make
little
any
kid.
sense.
I know. That's exactly how. I started school when I was 7 as well.
Right.
And yeah, like it's different for the first sort of like 4, I'd say maybe actually 5 to 6 years. But when you get to like sort of an academic learning stage, you just learn it just as like you just learn it quickly because I don't know because your life skills. And
got
stuff
life
just
skills,
Teach
yeah.
you how to learn stuff.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's
like,
crazy. It's...
Yeah, you like end up in the same place anyway. So yeah, it's awesome. I think.
No, I agree with you.
That's my
I've got
opinion.
some pretty strong beliefs about all school stuff now, and I think it's I don't know. You go to school for a hell of a long time, and then it's really shitty that you have to then decide, all right, I want to do this, and you don't even like really know yourself. I think for me, it took till I got to like 30 until I was like, oh, I think I like doing this stuff, and that's what I want to do. So a lot of people, they waste, get themselves in a shit ton of debt. They waste a load of time studying something that they're never going to use again. Yeah. And, it's
That's so true.
Yeah, it is. It is
That's
for sure.
so true. I'd be exactly the same if I didn't have bikes, like I'd still be like, oh, I don't know if I really want to study this, but I probably just should anyway, sort of thing. Like, yeah, it's definitely like that.
And that's just life. Like, things come and you find it and you like it, and then you don't like it a few years later and you move on.
Exactly.
That's just life.
You're not, exactly.
I think it takes a special person to get a job from school and stick with it all your life.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty...
And genuinely be really stoked on it as well. Like,
Strange.
Definitely.
Anyway, sorry, went on a little tangent there. My bad.
No, it's good. So my mum moved to Bristol.
Yeah.
And a little bit after that, my brother was there too. I moved in with her for a little bit, which was cool, like hanging out with her and stuff.
You're pretty close to your mum right now, then?
What's that, sorry?
Are you close, like you and your mum?
Like as in close in distance?
No, close as in like relationship close.
Yeah, for sure, we're close, but we've never really been like one of those families who, like my best friend who I was talking about, who I grew up riding with, that her family's very like sticks together, doesn't really. They always have like family gatherings, and they always, I don't know, it's not like that at all. Like I barely ever talk to my mum, but we are close, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like when I see her, we have a sick time and stuff, but like we'll probably talk on the phone like once every like 4 months or something.
Right. Okay.
But like we keep in contact. She messes me every now and then and stuff.
Okay.
So, but it's not like either one of us are like, why aren't you hitting me up and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's
It's
doing
sort
your
of
thing.
like, and she lives in Munich now, so which is kind of cool. We get to go and see her every now and then and have a little trip to Germany.
Nice.
So yeah, she moved back over there.
Okay.
So yeah, I lived with her for a little bit, which was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then you moved to Bristol, and then is
Yeah.
that where you sort of got a little bit more ingrained with that riding scene, and you met some of those
Yeah.
wild cats that they've got over that side of the country? You've got such a
Yeah,
good riding
definitely.
scene over there. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's so sick. Like, when I was living in Cardiff or near Cardiff, where I was working so much that I barely ever, and I didn't really know anyone, so I barely ever got to like properly experience like the valleys and what kind of riding there is there. But when I moved to Bristol, so I sort of like I knew a couple of people and like got to know more people, and I basically came to Wales like every couple of days to ride all the time.
Okay.
It cost like quite a bit going because there's like that bridge toll,
Yeah,
which is
I know.
now gone as soon as I moved to Wales. But yeah, I used to ride in Wales all the time. Like, basically never rode in Bristol.
Okay. Fair.
Valleys is where it's at for riding for sure.
Yeah, there's some good riding. It was cool when I watched the film this morning, and AJ was there, and I was like, yeah, dude, like AJ's in it. And you guys,
King of the Valleys.
yeah, you got some. Who else are you riding with then these days? Who is in the crew?
The main crew, we don't really live like that close together, but me, my brother Leo, and Parth, who lives like literally 1 minute down the road.
Okay.
And then Tani, Chaos, Cade, Josh, those boys who live up near Evolution. That's like the main crew. So we go up there quite a lot actually, and literally like 5 minutes ago I just got confirmation that I've like applied to rent a house up there, and
Oh,
they
wow.
just called to say like I can have it. So I'm going to be moving up there in the next sort of couple weeks, which is pretty exciting. So
Right.
the whole crew will be together, and I think for the winter it'll be awesome because there's so many like sick indoor skate parks up there.
Yeah.
And those guys ride there all the time, so it'll be so cool to just like work on the jump skills and like a couple of tricks and stuff over the winter as well. While
Amazing.
it's like horrible outside. Yeah.
Yeah, the Welsh winters are brutal. In fact, the
Yeah.
UK winters are brutal. Let's be honest.
yeah,
It's just like
yeah.
thunderstorm right now. It's not good.
Yeah, we just had a lot of rain, like literally today as well.
Yeah, it's like beautiful
It's good
here
though.
this morning, and then it started raining like crazy. But
Yeah, you never
it is what
know.
it is. It's the UK, right?
Yeah,
We just get on with
I
it.
love it.
So just to unpack that a little bit, because this is really interesting. So when did you start taking this stuff a little bit more seriously as regards to like trying to get sponsors on board, or did that just happen quite naturally?
So like when I was racing, like really unnaturally, I was trying to email people all the time, like please hook me up. Like I'm racing all these races and I don't have any support and stuff, but no one was keen, which is fair enough because like my results were pretty average. Social media was like pretty average. So like there wasn't really much point. But yeah, when I stopped racing and started riding for fun, just like putting videos on my Insta, me and my boyfriend Max, I think you know him.
Yeah, I know Max.
Yeah, we made a couple edits like for fun together as well, and yeah, so and then people just started hitting me up, which was sick. Like
Right.
I was like, no way, look at this. I stopped trying and like look what's happening. Actually, yeah, I spoke to Jamie from Wide Open, who was like, our team's like full for the year, our race team, but we'll have you as a media rider. So I was like, that's perfect. Like, and it still allowed me to work and then do like a couple of media projects with Wide Open as well.
Okay.
So that was mint. And then through riding with Wide Open, they got me a Marin from Marin UK. And then at the end of that year, Marin were keen to hook me up like properly,
Awesome.
like as a Marin sponsored rider. And then yeah, look, and then I don't know, like people were just hyped to hook me up. So it was like the dream for me, really.
Things start falling into place. What sort of
yeah.
jobs were you working then when you was doing like the Wide Open stuff and whatnot?
So I've always worked like basically the most shitty jobs I can find, which
Okay.
allow me, like I'm always looking for one. You know, like during the summer, I'll look for one sort of like early to midday or something, so that I can, like, I worked in a bakery which was like, it starts at 4 and then I'd finish at like midday sort of time, so I could ride like in the afternoon.
Cool.
And then during the winters, I'd find like something else shitty that I could work in the evening and ride when it's still light in the morning, sort of thing. So like I worked at like Pizza Hut. I worked as like a delivery driver. That was pretty funny.
Wow.
I worked just like general hospitality, you know, like in a restaurant and stuff, being a waitress.
Yeah.
And kitchens and stuff. Just whatever I could find that, like, obviously the wage was always really low, but the hours were good and allowed me to still ride while I was working, which was like the most important thing to me. I didn't want to have one of those jobs where I could only go out on the weekend.
Dude, that's awesome. I think that's amazing. You know, putting riding first, putting fun first, because again, so many people get trapped in some sort of bullshit job they don't want to be doing, and next thing you know, you've missed a few years and all these opportunities that have passed you by. It's that's cool. So you always put riding bikes and having fun first. That's really cool. There's a lot of value in that, I think, for people probably listening as well. They'll be like, yeah, that'll resonate with with some people.
Yeah, I don't want to like encourage people to be skint because it's not that fun, but like
no, but it is though. Sometimes it's like some of the best
funny.
Times are when you're broke because you appreciate stuff a little bit more, and it gives you that, I don't know, just that energy and that passion that you've got to make things happen, whether it is going to work the next day and working some shitty job. You know, there's a bit more of a reason for feeling like that and being broke. You know. Yeah.
It's not as bad as being broke and not doing any fun stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's always been like just my priority really, and just got on with it, and it's been sweet.
So right now you don't have to work any jobs. You're just full time.
Yeah,
doing
I'm
your thing.
Super lucky. Like since the start of last year, I've not had a job, which is amazing. Like I never ever expected it, so it's just like the nicest surprise ever. I'll just roll with it as long as I can, and then see what happens after.
Is it weird waking up and like you've got the whole day to do whatever the hell you want to do?
It is
within reason.
This is gonna sound like so unappreciative, but I actually have so much to do, like that. I don't know, like how I used to do it before. Do you know what I mean? I think you just get really bad at time management, and you actually have all these things, and I've got so many emails to do. I've got to do random stuff like go buy shit from the supermarket, or like go file my tax return, or like go to the dump, stuff like that. And it ends up taking my whole day. Sorry, I just got a call.
Sorry.
And I'm like, how did I used to do all this when I was still working? I think I just got really bad at like doing general life.
But what's cool though is like that mentality shift that like you get to do all that stuff to be a professional mountain bike rider. I think that's the shift, right? It's like shifting your whole mentality that you have the opportunity to live like that. And not taking it fully for granted, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely so stoked. Like, I never expected it. I'm just living the dream, so I can't complain at all. No complaints.
Roll with it. When did you meet Max? How did you meet Max?
I met him at Black Mountains. Do you know what's that TV program called, like the farmer one?
Country File.
Yeah.
Really? Oh wow.
Country File was filming at Black Mountains. So like, because Black Mountains is like half sheep farm, half bike park. So they were filming like a thing there about, the transformation into a bike park and stuff. And they were like, the guys from there were like, oh, do you want to come film for it? And I was like, sweet. And then they just had a bunch of riders turn up, and Max was one of them. So we just met there, really. Just met riding bikes.
Really?
Pretty random like situation, but yeah.
Max is Max is cool. Max was actually the first ever person we sponsored through Hook It.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was really cool how it all fell into place, actually. I'm going back quite, probably 4.5 years, I think. So we used to be the distributor for a brand called Joystick, and they used to have this whole thing about supporting trail builders. And just randomly one day, one of my business partners went for a ride in Warncliffe and bumped into Max and Rob, and they were basically like perfect for that brand. Do you know what I mean? Like they were just living in the woods pretty much, just building literally every day. It was, clay spades, I guess it was probably that back then, right? So just building every day, and they were the first two guys that we ever, like there was Max, Rob, and then sort of Petty as well a little bit, but we didn't really know him as well. But we like used to hook Max and Rob up with products and stuff, and it was cool.
That's so funny. That's sick.
Yeah,
I think they used to like at the beginning when I got to know them, they used to like go and stash like insane amounts of supplies in the woods, and just try to like live out there for like as long as they could
Oh, yeah.
at a time.
It was crazy.
It was sick.
I'm pretty sure
I
it
was
was
like, no way.
Petty that was living at some dirt jumps we've got in
Yeah,
Sheffield
yeah,
called
yeah.
Monkey Bumps. He was
Yeah.
like living there. It's like
Yeah, Max said that's where he found him. He was just
Yeah.
living at the trail.
he's living at the trails under like a bit of tarpaulin. It's crazy.
Loves it.
Yeah,
It's so
but yeah,
funny.
much respect for Max. It's been cool to
Yeah.
see how, again, like his career. He got into mountain biking. I think like bought some used Giant Glory or whatever,
Yeah.
and like got into it, and now he's a supported rider through Cannondale and stuff. And
Yeah.
that's been
Yeah,
super
it's
cool
really
to
cool.
watch that as well. And you guys must be the absolute hub of creativity when you're together as well. It must be
I
pretty-
don't know. He's like, I'm not very creative, but he's insane. Like some of those stuff he comes up with, I'm like, how? Like I literally can't think of half of the stuff. It's so cool.
He's a crazy good skateboarder as well.
Yeah, it's so
Like
sick.
crazy good.
He bought me a skateboard for my birthday last year and like tried to get me into it. And I did a couple things, but it's the scariest thing. Like it's
Yeah.
probably the easiest looking thing that's actually insanely hard.
100%.
Like
It was
I
a few
can't
years
believe
ago.
how hard it is.
My friends and I, we all bought skateboards, and we were like, right, just through winter, we'll go to, have you been to the house in Sheffield, skate
No,
park?
but I've heard about it like
Heard
millions
about
of
that.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Max is like the king of the house, I think.
Yeah.
So we used to go there and just try and learn to skateboard, and you get to a point, and then you get to that point for like, I think 10 years, and then you move past that point, you level up.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just the hardest, most
That-
demoralizing thing
It's
ever.
insane, isn't it? Me and
Yeah.
Tanya were saying this the other day. We were like, it's crazy how like if you're good at something, like or especially at sport, and you try a new sport and you're not instantly good at it, and you're just instantly you're like, what the fuck? Like, why?
It's impossible.
I should be insane for some reason. I expect to be insane, but I'm not.
It's true. So one thing I really want to talk to you about as well was like, social media and stuff is a huge part of what you do, and the appeal from sponsors as well as to what you do. When did that sort of stuff start like kicking in for you? Because you got a super big following on Instagram especially, and I think social media is like a super interesting topic because a lot of people hate it.
Yeah.
And really want to
Sure.
get away from it, and I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of negativity around it,
Yeah.
etc. But yeah, sort of talk to me about how you manage your social media and how much of a sort of hindrance and also a positive it is for you.
Basically, I was saying this to someone the other day. It's not, to me, like it's not. There's nothing really negative in it for me because this, like, when I started out, when I stopped racing and I started out doing fun stuff and like filming and putting on my Instagram, I'm still literally doing the exact same thing. Like, I literally go out and do fun stuff that I do on my bike anyway. Like, regardless of social media or not, I'd still do it. And then I just happen to like film it as well as do it, and it's like it's literally just what I do for fun anyway. So it's never feeling like a chore to me. It never feels like, oh damn, I have to go out and do this, like do a stunt or something for my Instagram today because it's been 3 days and I'm not, like, it's never like that.
Right.
Which I know it's like that for some people, and I can understand how it gets stressful for sure because people are like, every now and then, you'll see them having like a social media break and stuff like that. But I never feel like I have to do that. It's just like always quite fun for me.
Okay.
I love it. Obviously, like when my following grows, I have noticed over the last sort of like year or so that I'm having to be a bit more careful with sort of being, I don't know what the word is, like not PC, but like definitely like reining it in a little bit with some stuff because I have had a few complaints to sponsors about, like pulling the fingers in a photo or like
Right.
me and my brother went to Munich and we hired some city bikes and like jibbed around on them and people hated it.
Really?
Like the hate I got was insane, like people ride these bikes to work and you're just fucking it up for them and stuff. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I've never thought of that. And I know my brother did some big drops on it, but the bike was fine when we returned it. But like stuff, like just little things like that I wouldn't normally think of. I definitely have to be like a little bit more careful about how I portray myself, I guess. Which is cool. Like, it is cool, and it does teach you to be a bit more professional. But it's also, there's a fine line between wanting to be yourself on Instagram, because you don't want it to be like, I don't want it to be a fake account, and I don't want it to show like a false image of what I do and stuff like that. I want it to be like, real and what I normally do. but I also have to keep it professional. So there's a fine line that I'm still sort of learning about.
Got you. Okay.
But in general, I love it. Like, yeah, in general, it's awesome, and all the love that I get from people is like the sickest thing ever. So, cheers to all those people.
Is there anyone on social media you look up to that you think is doing it well, doing it good? If that makes sense. Because I try and like fill my feed full of like positive, cool stuff. Do you know what I mean? I think most people, should try and do that. But there's definitely some stuff out there where you look at it and you're just like, oh, just fuck off. Like I don't.
There's definitely some. Yeah, there's definitely a few things. I'm just really not into like the sort of like fakeness or the. I don't know. Like people call it selling out, and I guess when like, I don't know, you just kind of. You're a bit cringe.
Right,
I don't know how to explain. Like. I can't give you an example, but like
I know you mean.
Yeah,
just like selling out like some random sponsor that just is obvious that it's just doing it for money. Yeah.
Exactly. Like when people do it, like just for the money, like go and buy this insane new like thing, and you're like
CBD oil.
Like, yeah. There's so much of that. Yeah. But yeah, there's loads of people I look up to, like so many. There's loads of people who do like a lot of guys who do like similar thing to me, but obviously on a way higher level, who make sick edits, and it's just like it blows my mind. Like some of the stuff I watch is sick. Like a few of the guys from the US, they live like kind of near Utah, I think, in the desert, and they just go out and ride jumps all the time and post like sick clips, and they'll just be jamming and like learning new stuff and just having a fun time. That's what like I love watching, and it definitely like hypes me up to go out and ride my bike.
For sure. Yeah, it can be a super inspirational place. I think it's just you just have to be super careful about how you're managing it and how you
definitely
getting involved in those scroll holes where you just not what's the word? Not present. I think that's probably the best way of describing it. I think a lot of people do fall into that trap quite easily.
Yeah.
How many people hit you up though? Like do you get some creepy DMs going on? I can imagine
I don't really like. I've heard of some horrendous ones that a few girls have had. Like
really?
I know Tani's had some gnarly ones.
Right.
But she's obviously like way out there, and everyone's looking at her and stuff. And but I don't really get that many because it might not be such a good thing, but I don't really post that much like girly stuff on there, And I was actually looking for it the other day, and I was like, I barely have any photos of like even just my face on there. And like every now and then I get a message of someone saying, oh, I think I saw you today. Like, were you on this or this bike? And I'll be like, yeah, that was me. And I'll be like, oh, I didn't know what you looked like, so I didn't know if I should come say hi, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It makes me think like maybe I should kind of, just post more like photos or like I don't know.
Yeah,
I like what I do. Like I don't want to have to post like random stuff. So
there's that fine line with the whole thing too, and it's interesting because I was having this exact same conversation yesterday with another guest whose podcast will come out after yours, right? But he's like at that level of fame where within what he does, he gets recognised a lot. Yeah. But then he's like, if he's not within that circle, he can just still go to Asda, get his shopping. No one's going to be like bothering you for photos and stuff. It's really interesting. But then he goes like within his circle and within a country where the sport that this guy does is really big, and he just like can't even walk down the street. Like he literally just can't walk down the street. It's crazy.
Mad.
Yeah,
that's mad. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I think that's a dream when you're like recognized within your sport or something, but you still get the freedom of like going out and doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
Without like people nagging you and stuff. Tani gets like she'll be like at a gas station and a random person will ask her for a selfie, which is like pretty. You're pretty famous when that happens.
For sure. Yeah. It's huge. I mean that's. But even so, I mean your following, I think it's like 80,000. It's around that sort of number, isn't it? Yeah. Something like that. If you got 80,000 people in one place, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, that is a shit ton of people.
Yeah, we said this the other day. Like, someone was like, oh, your following's quite big. And I was like, yeah, like, but it's not as big as like a lot of other people I follow. And they were like, yeah, but imagine that many people in like a stadium or something. Yeah. And I was like, damn.
Do you think you could, this is always a really interesting question. Do you think you could get up on stage and talk to 80,000 people?
Definitely not. I'd shit myself. Definitely not. No, I'm like the worst. That'll be like race nerves coming back. I just probably pass out or something.
Oh dear, I don't know. So the film came out today. I want to talk to you obviously about the film. When did the preparation, all that sort of stuff for this, start happening? How does a film like this actually happen for an athlete? Like, who comes up with the first idea? How do you move it forward? Can you just like break down a little bit as to how this thing happened?
Yeah, for sure. Like, in terms of films in general, I'm still pretty new to it because this is my first video I've done that's probably longer than like 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
So it's like it was a massive learning experience for me, and it's super sick to be a part of. We've been talking about it for quite a while. I think I signed with Adidas and 510 at the start of last year. Yeah, at the start of 2018, sort of like February sort of time, and the woman, CJ, the lady, the marketing lady there is like an absolute legend. She's so stoked on like just mountain bikes in general, like
right.
Super passionate about everything. She's like the perfect person for the job, and she was like, would you be keen to like do a video together? And I was like, yeah, definitely. Like, I'm always up for doing videos. So we had me, CJ, and Dayton would talk about ideas, and we had a couple of ideas, like the classic road trip thing that like everyone does and stuff like that, which is cool, obviously, but it's been done a lot of times. And then I dig a lot around here and stuff, and I really enjoyed doing it. So I was like, could we sort of like incorporate that into something? And then we came up with the idea of building a line, and that was the standout idea, the one that everyone was keen on, and I was super hyped on. So we were just talking about it and stuff, and I was sort of imagining like maybe I'll find a field somewhere that I can build a couple of jumps in with a spade.
Okay.
And literally that was the plan. Like,
wow.
And every time we talked about it, it just sort of like grew from there, and more people were interested in it, and it just got to a stage where it just blew up, and I was like, this is insane. It was like we'd talked about it for a long time, and we'd tried to start doing it a few times, but it always kind of got pushed back. And then by the time it actually like got off the ground, it was like 10 times the size of what I thought it was going to be originally. So
right.
Yeah, super exciting. I think like the most important thing in what I've learned from this one project and doing like something like that is just to have the person at the company you're working with, to have like a person who's real stoked on it and real passionate and just like fully supports your ideas.
Yeah. Because
without her, like it definitely wouldn't have been what it is now.
That's cool. Right.
Yeah.
So then you approached, because the movie is shot mainly at Revolution Bike Park. That's where the line is.
Yeah.
What I thought was really interesting is it seemed like it came across that you really wanted to leave a bit of a legacy with that trail too, because for people who haven't seen it yet, well, first of all, pause this podcast and go and download the film and watch it first. But you went out to Brendan's line, which is the jump line in Madeira, which they use for death grip, and it was like, it's sort of overgrown. There's grass by the side of over the jumps and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And one thing you sort of said was you really want to leave a line there that people can ride for years to come.
Yeah,
that's a really interesting way of looking at this. I think that was like a real standout moment for me, that you were doing it and you wanted to leave it there for people to ride and to learn on and all that sort of stuff. Was that always the plan, or is it that just came from it?
The plan was always to have it somewhere where it would be sustainable. But before we knew it was going to be on that scale, we thought Robbie Mead, one of the videographers, his parents owned a field near Revolution. Actually, we were like struggling to find spots where we could build it, and we were thinking about building it in there. And obviously we'd just like sort of keep it running for people to come and, mates to come and ride or whatever. But I really wanted it to be like, because obviously like growing up watching all those films, and there's so many cool movies that you watch where people have built their dream jump lines, and you always wish that you could go and ride it. Like,
yeah.
I don't think anyone's watched one of those movies and thought, oh, I don't ever want to go there and ride that line. Like,
that's true. I've never thought about it like that, but you are totally right. Yeah, it's true.
Like, it's always like, oh, the dream would be to go and send, 7 laps. Obviously, it would be insanely hard, but like, imagine if you could. But
it was like so many people were so hyped as well to go ride the Gamble line from on the EWS, because it like incorporated part of the line that Bowman built. That was really
cool that they got to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Sick. So many people were hyped on getting the chance to do that. I've not thought about it like you just said, that you see all these things, and then you can't actually physically really go and ever ride it. So that's cool.
It's kind of cool. Like it keeps it like it gives it like sort of a exclusive vibe, where you're like, you have more respect for the line because you've just seen it and it looks so cool, and you're never going to get to ride it. But I think it's way cooler for I know how I feel when I watch those movies, and I always wish I could go and ride them. So I thought it would just be sick for people to be able to enjoy it as much as we did when we had our session.
Yeah. And you had some heavy hitters for the session as well. Some heavy hitters.
Heavy. Yeah,
cool,
it was insane. Like
yeah.
I've never had a session like it where there's that many heavy hitters just sending like
Crazy.
laps and laps. It was insane. So
Wow.
sick.
Soderstrom was there. Love Martin. Big respect for Martin.
He's such a legend. I've
Dog.
not really met him properly.
Really?
And I've not really even met. I've met Petey, but I've not really like properly chatted to him, and he's actually the sickest guy.
Yeah, he's really
Obviously,
nice
like
guy.
you'd expect that, but yeah, he's such a ledge.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool. The movie, again, if people haven't seen it, there'll be a link in the show description so people can go and
Thanks.
download it too. There's that really heartfelt moment as well where Jamie's talking about his dad, like that.
James,
was talking about his dad. That was, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Everyone in the premiere was like getting their tissues out.
Bit of a tearjerker. That was really
definitely.
really good.
Yeah,
so
he's such a legend. I can't. Those guys are just. I have no words for how sick they are and how committed they are and how hardworking. It's insane.
How long did it take for the whole line to be built then? Because he said like 4 or 5 months, was it?
Yeah, it was like I'd say more 5-ish.
Wow.
Yeah, they grafted hard, but considering like that's the line, it's super quick. Like
Right.
every time I went up there to have another look at it and chat about more ideas and stuff, I was mind blown about how much more they'd built. I was like, what?
It's funny that every time you go up to check it out, it was raining as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Like there's like beautiful footage of you out in Madeira riding, and then it's like, right, back in Wales, check out the line. Yep,
Yeah, no.
pissing it down.
we were so worried it was going to be like that for the session, but it was actually quite wet for quite a few days. But because of the dirt and because of how well it's built, it didn't actually really make too much of a difference.
Right.
Like it still ran really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to know that the jump line's there for any conditions.
How far away is that from you then? Can you just go ride it pretty easily now?
Well, at the moment I'm still in South Wales, so it's like 2.5 hours ish.
Right.
But hopefully within the next couple of weeks it will be like 15 minutes from my house.
Sweet.
The dream.
Yeah, for sure.
I know. I can't wait.
Party
Everything's
laps.
there. The quarry's there. That line's there. Everything. The crew's there. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, that place is I've been a few times.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Mark, owns the shop actually up there.
Cool.
Revo Bikes.
Yeah.
But James seems to be getting really involved. You got the 50-1 line. They just had the bowl jam. There seems to be a real hub going on up there
Definitely.
for not just racing, but like free ride / free racer sort of stuff going on as well.
Definitely. There's so much stuff. They're just like constantly working on another insane project. Like every time I go up there, they're like, look at this. And I'm like, what?
Have you been and
Mind
ridden Rachel's place yet?
No, I haven't.
Actually not. Okay.
No, it does look cool though. I'd
Does look
love
good.
to go check it out.
It does look good.
To get the downhill bike out, I think, because it looks like pretty gnarly.
Yes.
Have you been?
Nah, not yet. No. But obviously, it's been on the cards for a while of them opening it, and it sort of came a little bit of a surprise. Actually, I thought there'd be a bit of a build up. It was like, oh, it's open. Like what?
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't happening. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, definitely on the cards, like you said.
Yeah.
Love to.
Yeah. The bike you rode in it too, sick. The custom painted Mount Vision. I've just been working with John and the guys on a podcast about the Mount Vision actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Sick.
I love that bike.
Do you? Nice.
I handed it back. I had one for a month or so. Such a good bike, like all round good bike.
It rides amazing, doesn't it? Like, I don't know, like. I've kind of forgotten how the bikes used to feel that I used to ride, because that bike is insane. Like, and I know it's supposed to be like an enduro race machine, but it's so sick on jumps. Like on that Vision line, it's like the dream.
Is it
so
really?
Nice.
Perfect bike.
Yeah. It loves it. It's the perfect. I think it's like the perfect setup. Like the travel and everything for that line is meant.
Yeah. What is it? It's 180.
It's 150.
150. Sorry. Yeah. here I am. I'm like, yeah, I just handed it back. I can't even remember what travel it is.
No, yeah, it's 150 on front and rear, I think.
Yes, no,
Goes
you're
hard.
right. You're right. So what's going on then? What like future? What you got coming up? Like, where do you see this whole career of yours going? Do you think about that, or?
I don't know. Like, it probably sounds really stupid, but I literally don't like.
I think it works for you though to not. It
Yeah.
looks like it is. Just roll with it.
Well, I'm very aware that I'm not going to be able to do this forever, but I'm just like doing it for as long as I can. Obviously, like, I'm not going to say no to any opportunities that come my way, because I'm literally living the dream at the moment. So I may as well sort of capitalize on that and run it for as long as I can. And it's so sick. Like, I hope it lasts a little bit longer because I love it. And then I'll just see what happens. Like, I've not really got like any concrete plans or anything like that. So
Right. You got any trips planned or anything like that going on?
Yeah, I've got like actually our whole crew's going to Whistler in a couple of weeks, which is like super exciting because
Awesome.
most of them haven't been, and then I've not been for like 4 years.
For Crankworks?
And like during Crankworks time, but
Okay.
not necessarily like to compete or anything like that.
Right. Okay.
So it'll be sick. Yeah, like I've not been for ages. Loads of them haven't been. Tani's just gonna have like just gonna be back on the bike since her injury. So it's gonna be a sick trip. And then I've got a few like exciting projects coming up towards the end of the year, like around the US sort of area, which I'm pretty excited
Okay.
for.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'm pretty hyped to just hang out at home, like at the new spot up north, and just like ride with the crew and see what we come up with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Switch gears on you just a little bit, because it's I really wanted to ask you this: what do you think is the state of women's mountain biking right now? I'm sorry to do that.
Every time I voice my opinion about this, I get
No, it is
trends.
really. It's interesting
No,
though.
but
Like, what do you think's going on?
I don't think anyone can voice their opinion without someone being opposed to it, because there's so many.
It's quite a
different-
polarizing topic.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just what did you say, the current state of women's mountain biking? Or
Yeah. And like, are you aware of what you're doing for it? Because you're doing like crazy positive things for women's mountain biking.
I hope so. Like, I've heard mixed reviews, to be honest, because I love it actually when I get messages from girls saying, like, I'm inspired, or like you make me stoked to go and ride. That's the actual dream. Like, it makes my day when I see a message like that. But every now and then, like, someone will say, your content is like, it doesn't encourage women because it like, instead of encouraging them, it what was the word that someone used? I don't know, not discourages them, but like, it doesn't they can't relate to it, so they don't get hyped on it, if you know what I mean. Because like a lot of women getting into the sport, they're not that hyped on doing big jumps and stuff like that. So someone was saying, like, you don't actually like, no women can relate to what you do, and I was like, like, but that doesn't, like, to me that doesn't really make sense, because I really I love watching women do all sorts of sports that I can't relate to at high levels, and like, or I love watching the top women who race downhill, and I don't really relate to them doing what they're doing. So I don't think I don't know. Hopefully it's doing good things. But like, since I started riding 10 or so years ago, like, literally every year, every time I go to a bike park, I see more and more women there, like, out with the boys, or out on a little group ride, or even like out on their own, and like, it's definitely like going in a positive direction massively, and it's growing so much, and I think like it's just headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's getting there. It's sick.
Cool.
It's so cool. And there's more women, like, getting out there and like learning how to do jumps and getting gnarly on their bikes, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's so sick. Yeah, it's so sick to see.
And that's one thing that again comes across in the movie, that you didn't want it to be a women's mountain bike film. It's an inclusive mountain bike film. It's everybody riding together. And it seems like that.
I just don't think the right way to go about, there's a lot of people who are trying to push women's rights and stuff, which is obviously meant, like, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think like, personally, I think the best way to do it is by sort of like everyone riding together, and like showing that we all ride together and we all have a sick time together, rather than separating women and men and stuff, like just people on bikes basically having a sick time. That's what I think is the best. Yeah.
I listened to a really good podcast the other day, actually. A friend of mine's got a podcast called Gypsy Tales, Jace, and he had a lady, whatever, on. I'm going to tell you her name, actually. She was super interesting. She was a former enduro motorcycle rider.
Nice.
And her name's Gemma Wilson.
Cool.
And she was doing tons of stuff. You know, she sort of a similar story, right? So she quit riding, racing anyway, because she just fell out of love with it. But she stayed involved with the sport by sort of organising women's events, like trail days and stuff, like going out and doing trail rides, but only so that, you know, it just gives girls a place to go just to hang out and get to know each other, and creating more of a community around it. And I don't know if there's anything like that going on in the UK, but that could be pretty rad. And it's more for confidence, because a lot of girls probably don't want to go and ride, you know, X downhill track at the weekend because they just feel like they're in the way. I don't know, whatever.
No,
so,
exactly. That's so true. Like we every year, like for the past couple of years, I've been a part of like they do like a women's weekend at Bike Park Wales, which is quite cool.
Okay.
And they had one at Black Mountains last year as well, which was sick. Me and Manon did that. And there's a lot, like there's so much happening all over the country with, you know, there's like women's mountain bike clubs and like women's days and like women's rides and stuff like that, which is sick. And I definitely like, you kind of, because I've been in it for so long, I kind of forget, like personally to me, when I go out riding with people, I never really see myself as like different to the guys. Yeah. But that's because I've realized like recently that's because I've been in it for so long and I've got used to the situations. And I've said like a couple of times, I've said like wrongly said, you know, like women, they shouldn't be intimidated in those situations because we're all people and stuff. But it's so easy for me to say that because I'm so used to it. Yeah. And it is really intimidating. Like I remember like back in the day when I was starting to get into it, is like really intimidating when there's like guys around and they're loud and they're doing gnarly things and they're just like, and you feel like they're judging you and stuff like that. So those places are sick for women who are getting into it to, you know, like feel like sort of just more, it's just more chill for them basically.
Yeah, just
and
get a little bit
like
of confidence
cool
coming away from it as well, I think.
Yeah.
Like you say, that's
sure.
It's pretty demoralising when that's happening around you. It's the same as, you know, when we started going to the skate park, me and my friends, you know, you're there, you can bet, you can't drop in and everyone's doing it and you're just like, fuck it, I'm just going to go home then because it's just a waste of time. It's going to hurt myself and people are just going to laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
It's easy to say, you know, don't worry about all these people around you, but it's not that easy to do all the time. So
no, not at all.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting though to hear your take on it. Yeah, I think that was, you know, pretty much what I wanted to ask you, if I'm honest. Again, I didn't want this to be an interview, but we did get quite a few listener questions, so I'm going to hit you with a couple of those if that's okay.
For sure.
All right, let me just fire up the old dog and bone, and we'll try and dig a few out.
Nice.
I
may have to charge my phone, and the stupid new iPhone.
Oh yeah.
Only has one freaking thing.
What battery have you got?
I might have to get. What battery?
What battery
I don't know,
life?
It's like on really low.
Okay.
How do you even? Let me check.
It's okay.
I think it should be chill, but like just in case I randomly cut out.
All right, that's fine. If it does, we'll just figure it out. All right.
How does battery? Oh yeah. Battery. It doesn't tell me.
It's okay. If it goes, we'll just figure it out.
Cool.
First listener question came in on Instagram @VagueHugh. When you did your first no-hander, did you do it to dirt or to an airbag?
I actually, I wouldn't recommend this at all. But I just one day, me and Max and his friends were just riding along the road, and they were like doing bunny hops and taking their hands off. And I'd never ever thought about doing a trick in my life, and I was like, I just tried doing it as well, copying them. Yeah. And I was like, actually, this is quite easy. And I was like, I wonder what it'd be like to try to dirt. So me and actually Rob,
right.
we were like, oh, should we try them? So we both tried to do them on this tiny jump in Warney. And like, obviously it was scary, but it was like so much. It was like more fun than it was scary to me. So I just got hooked, and I just did it to dirt. And like touch wood, up until now, nothing's gone wrong with no-handers. But obviously, maybe one day it will.
Okay.
But I definitely would recommend like trying any trick to a safer sort of, or even just like a mulch jump or a jump with a soft lander first.
I saw on the pink bike thing that went out today, I think it was.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I know.
Painful.
that you were going to try and learn a flip
Yes.
for the film, right? But then
Yes.
people were saying, you know, obviously you said that you were aiming to land on your head, so you didn't land. It's the funniest
It
thing.
was taken like out of context,
Yeah.
and you know, like parts of the quote were missing from that.
Okay.
So what I actually said, obviously, I really wanted to learn a flip. I've never been a person who can flip. You know, like I've never done one on a trampoline. I've never done one like into water. You know how people do all those cool
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
I've never even tried that. So I think it was a bit of a big call trying to learn a flip for vision. But I only decided like a couple months from the final section of filming that I wanted to try one. And I just didn't have time. I had a couple of foam pit sessions and just on my jump bike as well. So it was a different bike that I was riding on a completely different jump with not a very steep lip. So it didn't work. And what happened was I must have, in the air, I don't know what happened. I had no idea where I was. I was upside down for the first time in my life. And I landed on my head and I didn't put my arms out to sort of soften the blow from my head. And what I was trying to say was maybe my body subconsciously didn't want to break a bone, so it didn't put limbs out to stop myself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now apparently I'm an advocate for head injuries and I'm super into them. I really hope I get loads of them in my time. No, I know, I can see why people say that from what was written in the article, but that's totally not what I meant at all. I absolutely hate head injuries and I do not think they're a good idea.
You're not preparing them for them.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you somehow miraculously have time to think about what you're doing in the air, I would definitely recommend not landing on your head.
Great advice.
So, sorry, pink bike users, but that's not what I meant.
That
but
was
yeah,
funny.
But I'm stoked. I landed one like a couple of weeks later. After we filmed Vision, I had a bit of time to, like learn them properly, and then I landed one, and I was super hyped.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
All right, Vision 2. It's got a flip in it.
No, never again.
Next one came in from @RobClark33. Has Vero thought about vlogging like Matt Jones? Watched Vision twice this morning. So sick.
Aw, thank you. That's sick that he's watched it twice. What a lid. I've never actually been hyped to vlog. I know not Matt Jones in particular, but I've talked to a lot of people who obviously I've like thought about it because it seems like, I don't know, a lot of people are doing it these days, and it's kind of a cool way to capitalize on like what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah,
but I think what I'm doing at the moment works so well for me because I'm not actually really it's not a chore for me to film stuff. And I think speaking from the people who I've spoken to who vlog, it's really become like, and you can kind of tell sometimes by watching them that it's like they have to go out and they have to do their vlog, and they've come up with this super random thing because they've run out of ideas and that kind of thing. Yeah. And it's just, I don't want to get to the stage where I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. So even though I know people like they make a lot of money off it and that
it's
kind of
time
thing,
consuming too, like creating
really
that amount of content, like
I'm not really that in it. I'm not in it for like a load of money, and I'm not in it to stop enjoying what I'm doing. So I don't know. I think some vlogs are cool. Like Axel Hodges, that motocross rider. His vlogs are sort of more like just a video, just an edit.
Like a day in the life almost.
Talking to the camera for hours, and he's more just like doing stuff, and then his guys filming him, which is kind of cool. But I don't know. I'm not too hyped to do vlogs anytime soon. Okay,
all right. It's a good answer. I like that. No, you're right. Like I say, it does take up a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much content that I don't know, mind blowing how much effort goes into making that amount of stuff.
The people who bash them out every day, like they must be, that is hard work. Like, I know they have like camera guys and stuff, but like Sam Pilgrim, for example, fair play to him, like he puts in a lot of work, and I'm pretty sure he edits it himself and stuff, which is mad respect.
Yeah, that's hectic. And to be fair, they do really good as well. Like they get
really
crazy views.
He's one of my favourite ones to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, he's funny as hell.
Funny. Yeah. And he doesn't really give a fuck. He just kind of like, destroys random bike parts for a joke, and it's really funny to watch.
Oh dear. Funny. We got another one in from @LewisJohnston58. Can you ask Vero to define a jib it's a question that I want to ask a lot of jibbers to see what it means to them. Great question.
I don't actually really know what jib is. Like, people throw the word around like I don't know, and I'm just kind of, I just kind of copy what people say. So I've started saying jib as well. But apparently, it's actually is it like a skate term or a surf term or something? Or
I feel like it comes from skiing, but I might be totally
maybe
wrong.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it's like completely irrelevant to what people think mountain bike jibs are. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna try and think I know stuff. I literally, but I like, I just like messing around on my bike. That's what I enjoy doing. I think that's what people say jibbing is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's like taking a new spin on like mountain bike version of jibbing. But
Yeah.
it's cool.
I feel it's cool though that some of those guys have sort of not invented it, but they've definitely brought it to like mainstream stuff. The 50-1 guys, especially Loose Dog and stuff like that. It's
it's really, some of the stuff he does is really impressive. Like at the bowl jam the other day, just like it's just really technical.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I know he's quite good on a BMX, so it just like transfers over to the mountain bike. But I could never do most of that stuff. Like it's so gnarly and so technical.
For sure. Same, like you said before, it's like almost like skateboarding. You look at it and you're like, that looks easy.
Yeah.
Then you stand on a skateboard
Yeah, exactly.
and you go, there's
Yeah.
no way I could,
Yeah.
360 up that and then land on my back wheel. I don't know, whatever it is.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick.
Next one, at Chaos Seagrave. How is it being in the sickest crew there is? Do you say G up or die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
Amazing.
It's good. I love it. It's alright.
Thanks for that,
I
Chaos.
love all those boys. They're so sick. Like all the vibes that we have, like when we ride together and just hang out, it's like just nothing else. I love it. It's the best.
Amazing.
That's why we're moving up there and we're gonna have the best time.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
At Let's Get High 420. Amazing. Which jump's your favourite on the new line and the best jump you have ever hit?
Ooh, best jump I've ever hit, like in general, or on that line.
Ever.
So, on that new line, I'd say the first right hand hip is insane. Like, for me, it's amazing because pretty much any bike park I've been to don't have any right hand hips. I think like left hand hips must be everyone's natural way to hip, so they all build left hand hips. So on that line, obviously, like I had some input in the fact that there's quite a few right hand hips on it.
Oh, you ride left foot
which
forward?
is like my way. Yeah.
Ah.
Oh no, yeah, I'm left foot forward. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything I do is like the wrong way around for what it's meant to be, I think. But yeah, I love to hip to the right, and there's the most amazing hip on there, and it's just like, I don't know, you can go. When you watch Vision, there's like some of the guys go insanely high on it, and
I know. And
it's just one of those ones. Yeah,
there's like a train. There's a train bit of footage, and Matt Jones is probably like the second to last guy, and he sends it. It's so high.
Yeah. It's such a sick one because you can like go tiny, and then you can just build up and up and up, and before you know it, you're just like way up there, and it's so much fun.
Sick.
So yeah, that's the best jump for sure.
Okay, good. Facebook, we got Tim Norris, and he says, I got myself a Marin San Quentin 3 earlier this year, and it's by far the most fun bike I've ever had. Nice. What's your favourite bike to ride? Dirt jump, hardtail, enduro, or DH?
Ooh, I'd say the bike I ride most is definitely an enduro bike. Obviously, I think like the UK is just the dream for enduro bikes. But recently, I've got like over the last year or so, I've got into dirt jumping, and I don't do it as much as I'd love to because there's not that many around where I live. But I love riding dirt jumps. I love riding my Alcatraz. It's so much fun. I don't know. It's just like it's really scary, but once you like do something that you're so scared of, I think that's like the best feeling. Yeah. So it's just like the ultimate hype. But yeah, I love riding my enduro bike, especially I love riding every enduro bike really. But I love my Hawk Hill 3, which is like a small travel enduro bike.
Okay.
There's loads of fun, especially like that bowl jam that we had the other day. Yeah. It was like the dream bike for there because it's like 130, 120 mil travel. Okay. And it's so much fun. It's so playful, and I've got a small sized frame as well, which is like really small, and it's just so fun to like throw around.
The guys at Marin are rad, and they're making good bikes.
Yeah.
Really good
And they're
bikes.
constantly like, I swear every day they've got a new bike coming out.
Yeah, it seems that way.
And they're all sick. Yeah, they've got some seriously hardworking people behind them that smash it.
For sure. It's a really small team as well, which is what
Yeah.
I went to the launch actually at 417 Project.
Nice.
And a lot of the team were there, and it was like, yeah, there's I think 30 people, something like that, globally that run the whole
Yeah.
of the company. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think like at the HQ in the US, there's like 13 of them.
Yeah.
So it's like a
sounds about
super
right.
small team, but they're just like so passionate about what they do,
Yeah.
and it seems like they're a lot bigger. Yeah.
For sure. Last one. Great question to end on. What goals do you have for your riding in the future?
As you can probably tell from this whole podcast, I don't really have goals. No, I don't know. I always say like I just want to, keep doing what I'm doing because I absolutely love it and just get better at what I'm doing. So like get some bigger tricks under my belt. I really want to learn how to like whip properly all the time because I've just kind of got the hang of like whipping. But it's quite inconsistent, so I'll like on some jumps I'll get it all right, other jumps I'll literally do a bar turn and be like, oh.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd love to be able to whip like all the time.
Arguably
Like,
the most
a
stylish
proper
thing
whip.
ever on a bike is
Yeah,
still whipping.
insane.
Keep watching Axel Hodges videos.
Yeah,
You'll figure it out.
I think it really makes a difference. Literally, if you just watch something over and over and over, like subconsciously you kind of like get the action of it in your head and you like just learn it. But yeah, just doing bigger tricks, doing like getting steezier on the bike, doing big jumps. Just what I'm doing now to a higher level would be the dream.
All right. Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, I don't have any like serious goals, but
That's good. I think it's rad. Your attitude seems amazing, to be honest with you. It's really cool. It's
some would argue, but
it's commendable. I think it's rad. How much is Max must really influence you quite a bit with that stuff too, because he's a chilled guy.
He's very chill. Like it's pretty good because I can be like, I can be pretty.
Does he like keep you on a level? Just like
yeah. I don't know. I can't think of the right word. Like, I get pretty wound up sometimes at random things. Like I get road rage and stuff like that. So when Max is in the car with me, then it's like the dream. He's just like, oh, don't worry. And I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, it's fine.
Amazing. All right. Well, it's been a blast sitting and chatting. Like, really enjoy it. Like, thank you so much for taking time out. If people don't follow you already, where do people follow you? Where can people find out more about Vision as well?
Instagram is my main platform that I use. So if you want to follow me on there, that'd be sick. I'll be stoked. And the link for Vision is in my bio.
Yep, and it's in the show description too.
Nice, legend. But yeah, I think it's on. If you don't have any Apple devices or anything, it's on like Google Play and Amazon and stuff like that as well. So if you want to check it out, then
for sure,
people
go watch it. Like, it's sick. Well worth people's time watching it. 36 minutes of bliss. Everyone who's worked on that film did a stellar job. It came out awesome. And they absolutely smashed it. All the guys did, but I absolutely so much respect for him. Absolutely smashed it. So much work. Like, I don't even know how he did it, but respect. Cool. All right, well, go enjoy your evening. Again, it's been a blast, and thank you for taking time out to have a chat. And over and out. Peace.
Sick. Thank you very much.
All right.
Stoked on it.
Wait there.
Good times.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 80 of the main Hook It podcast. Number 100 of all time, including everything else. All the mini-series is in the bag. Thank you once again for listening to the show. If you have enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes, leave a review, share the episode on social media. That makes a big difference as well. Don't forget as well, head to hookitproducts.co.uk if you want to support the podcast. Enter the promo code podcast. That'll get you 10% off anything and everything. saxunderwear.com, big up to those guys for supporting the podcast and keeping us in fresh duds. And most importantly, if you can afford to donate a little bit of money, there's a link in the show description for the RNLI marathon. Me and my friends were running a marathon to raise some money, guys. It's not easy. We're struggling our asses off trying to train for it, but if you can afford to donate some money, it'll go a long way. So big up. Thank you to you all once again, and have a great rest of your week. Secret Sessions drops towards the end. Peace out.